Hello, I'm Darren Jackal. I'm in my studio. I talk about design, product development, and mountaineering. Welcome to another episode of Experimental Design, Discourse, and Disclosure. This is part 2 in the series where I'm going to be talking about the gear I use for ski mountaineering and my attempt to integrate those various pieces into a more coherent and more usable whole. As I was saying in the previous episode, it's really context that's important for understanding the integration of these various components. So I'm going to start today's discussion with just a simple day trip in winter conditions. So say yo-yo skiing in the Kootenays, where there's not going to be any glaciers, so I'm not worried about crevasses being barely covered by early season snow. It's going to be short days, so my backpack is going to be minimally loaded, and we'll look at what I have in my backpack and how I pack it. And as I go through this series, we will cover the multi-day and the going up, the booting, the coming down, what you're going to need to have in your backpack for these kind of trips. We'll also be looking at basically the same sort of thing that I always talk about, and that is the fitness function, which is our environment. We can look at this as the criteria. There'll always be these basic factors that we want to consider. That'll be social, economic, and technological factors. For us in this discussion, it's going to come down a lot to the features I'm going to be talking about. These can be affordances, behaviors, accessories, etc. Attributes, which will be the physical properties, such as the weight, the strength, and the durability of things. I threw agents in here, as we always want to be, reducing weight, increasing strength, increasing durability. I consider things like characteristics to be more of the style, the colors you're going to use, and there's a lot of function that comes into this as well, but for characteristics, I'm just going to consider it to be style. And then there's going to be the constraints. These will be the limits, the considerations, the parameters, the allowances, the variables. And we'll talk about all of this in more detail as we talk specifically about each component and how it needs to integrate with the other components in the system. It's kind of difficult to decide where to start on these things, as they all sort of interact with each other, but I will start with the backpack and a little bit about how I see it integrating with the pants, and then we'll talk specifically about the pants and the vest after that. And then later on, I will introduce the sled and how I see it integrating with the system. I've had this backpack for probably 25 years now, and it's been quite instrumental in developing some of the ideas that I'm going to talk about today. One of the first ones will be the mountain tool holster. Now, it's important to remember that when I was developing this idea, I was looking for a solution to a specific problem. I wasn't thinking about a backpack and a different way to carry an ice axe. I was thinking about how I was managing my ice axe in an emergency. We were putting it behind our heads, that old classic style, and I just found it to be not optimal. Important to remember that these ideas come from a look into an issue, a problem, and trying to find a solution to that problem. This is addressing user needs, and it just happens that it winds up being on the backpack and being integrated with it. Now, this all needs to be obviously much better integrated. So this is basically the backpack I would have with me on a day trip to the Kootenays in the winter yo-yo skiing. I got my camera here, I got my probe pole on the side. Inside the backpack, I have, and I'll show you how I load this thing up and stuff. I keep the lid inside to keep everything nice and tucked in. Now, this would be the scenario where I'm going down. So I've got a lot of things on my body. I have my transceiver on my body. I have things in my pockets. In here I'll have navigation equipment. I'll have a headlamp. I'll have, you know, maybe goggles if I need them, other things like that in the lid. And then I have, now I probably have my bigger skis or skins with me that are right here. And I may or may not have ski crampons with me. Let's hope it's a nice day and I don't need the crampons. Now the thing about the way I use this backpack is that I have no interest in keeping it waterproof. I think that's just not the best idea. I don't like roll top. The concept of actually keeping things dry inside your backpack is to me a bit of a fallacy. Snow is going to get in there, and what it's going to do is going to get trapped. So what I do is I use these heavy duty bags to pack my gear in that have these great loops that I can hang on things. If I'm on a steep slope, I can put a pole in and hang it. I just simply roll these up and stuff them in, and it keeps everything dry. I can put it right down in the snow, no problem. This I keep extra gloves, toques, anything extra clothing wise. Next I have my food bag. I keep my lunch in this Tupperware. I have a liter water bottle that I keep lukewarm tea in, and I have a thermos where I keep very hot tea in. And if I need to, I can extend my water supply by melting snow into the hot water and extend some water. I keep all of this in this one, and this volume stays the same. If I'm looking for inverse segregation with a large pack, this is what I have. It can also be crushed if I'm in an avalanche. It'll absorb some forces, let's put it that way. Finally, I have a jacket for when I'm stopping at the very bottom. So all of this stuff I just place in here loosely. I don't try and jam it in. I just want it to take up space. Okay, so I'm going to leave those out. So I'm skiing down. My skins are in my pack. Lid goes in. Close it up, and then the load lifter. I've never really had any problems with my gear getting wet. My backpack has been soaked at the end of a day of powder skiing, and that's why I keep things in those plastic bags, so that I can just take them out and put them onto the snow and not worry about them. So and then in the back pocket here will be my shovel. I keep a shovel blade, a shovel handle, and there can also put in a saw, and then I have this safety survival blanket that I just put in here. I also have, you know, things like a repair kit and stuff like that. That all goes in the lid. The next scenario would be day tripping, but now on glaciated terrain. In this instance, I'm going to be taking some extra gear. I'm going to probably be bringing an ice axe to do T-slots in case someone goes into a crevasse. I'm going to therefore need a rope. I take a 30 meter and some extra bits and pieces for glacier travel, Prussics, carabiners, progress, capture devices. And if I'm really interested in making a summit, especially in the Rockies, I'm definitely bringing a pair of real boot crampons. This can all easily fit into this backpack. I pack it lightly, and this isn't that much extra gear. So again, I'm skiing down now. I have my skins in my pack, so my pack is going to be as full as it's going to be. You can see I've got my harness on, and it's going to ride around my waist. I want my belt for my pack to ride more on my hips, and you can see there's a lot of stuff going on here, and now my pockets are useless. I like to keep things in these pockets, and now I no longer have access to them, so this is going to be an issue I need to deal with. Another issue is using the washroom. I've been mountaineering with a friend who is a female for 20 years now, and it's very difficult for her to manage that aspect once you put a harness on. I myself find the way that they cut pants and where they put the fly to be absolutely inadequate for even urinating with a harness on. So that's it. I'm going to pick up on the next episode with the integration of the backpack, the pants, and the vest. I'm going to wrap up this episode now. My name is Darren Jackal. I'm in my studio. I talk about product development, design, and mountaineering. Thanks for stopping by. This has been Experimental Design, Discourse, and Disclosure.